Welcome to Net Zero. Rainforests are vital to our planet's survival. They're not only a source of air, water, medicine, and food, but they also serve as a crucial defense against climate change. Paloma Costa is a Brazilian climate activist, researcher, and a legal advisor. She is a member of various organizations related to climate action, such as the Feminist Coalition for Climate Action at UN Women and the UN Global Compact Brazil. Paloma is also the co-creator of EduClima, a climate education program for youth. We are pleased to welcome Paloma Costa to Net Zero. So my first question is, you've got a lot of experience with the Amazon rainforest. So what's an effective and a long-lasting approach to safeguarding it into the future?
I think what we've been discovering a lot, what really have been helping to guarantee the forest standing, is when you have an approach on social biodiversity economy. Because when you think of that, you cannot think on protecting the Amazon without the people that is living there. If you take a look on georeferencing and maps, you see that the areas that are most protected are exactly the areas that you have like local communities, indigenous community, riverside communities, and quilombolas communities living in. So I believe this is what has been the best approach and what we've all been trying to support and implement here in Brazil in the past few years.
So you actually mentioned the locals. How can we kind of learn from the indigenous peoples of the rainforest to help promote sustainability in our modern world?
I think like it comes from the entire spiritual knowledge, and that is very seen in their own culture, the way that they relate with the forest. And their own mindset and society is based into a mindset that says that you are part of the forest and the forest is part of you. Just because of that, because of this mindset and how these communities are building to respecting, into hunting, and what is actually needed, into planting, but also respecting the trees that are like guardians for the forest. It is something that it can really teach us that to grow up far from environmental areas, on how we can relate more and respect more the environment we live in. When I was a child, I had the opportunity to be very close with the biome that I live in, which is the Cerrado. And that's what exactly what touched me since I was a child into believing and loving the environment and wanting to work with that, with its protection, with upstanding for our earth, because it is something that I carry deeply in my heart and in my soul, and it was taught by me, by my mom, by my ancestors.
So how do we, convince global leaders of this? How do we incentivize them to prioritize the protection of environmental and cultural sites, and maybe most importantly, the confluence of the two?
I learned something with the grandson of Hauni Metuktiri, that it is that we have to keep planting seeds as the ancestors been planting it in their communities, into their spiritual and cultural knowledge. So we have to keep reforestating hearts and minds and conscience, be talking to people, be engaging them, be making them empathic and sensitive with this different knowledge, because I believe like once you are touched by understand that when you stand up for the environment you are in, you understand that you have no other choice than to stand up for your home, for your mother earth. We will always have to keep touching people's heart, reforestating it, giving them hope. And this is something that we can find in the environment we live in. And hopefully more people will be more engaged and world leaders will understand the power of it. So I think if we make sure that every day be more and more creative, use art, use music, use like your voice, your spirit to uplift people and make them connect I think that's the way we have forward to survive in this entire planet.
Do you have any other just final conclusive thoughts on this topic as a whole and maybe supporting youth groups in supporting the Amazon rainforest?
I think the last thing I would say is like the power of young people and how they become young leaders and how important it is. And it's something that I learned in the indigenous movement, the power of you forming future leaders. So the power of education, the power of touching hearts, the power of reforestating, and also the recognition of how young women and women in general have always been playing this part as people who really embrace and have the sensibility to pass over the information. So I'm very proud of being a woman in the week of the Women's Day, and very proud to be able to do a work with on community and affection, because I think this is what really moves us through the days and through the anxiety of a climate collapse.
This was incredible. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much to Paloma Costa for sharing your time and perspectives today. They were truly enlightening. This is climate activist Vedant. I add my voice to the voices of my net zero international youth peers to monitor the action of our world's leaders to achieve their net zero commitments. Together, we can achieve net zero. Thank you.